I can't deal with that right now. I can't deal with that right now. I can't deal with that right now. This thing keeps happening where I can only ever see what's right in front of me. Maybe 24 hours ahead. I can only ever see the day that I'm in. And as far as organizing my time or myself for like 1 to 4 weeks into the future, I can't handle all that information on top of whatever I'm already doing. It's like I don't have a folder for that information. I don't have any more slots or drawers in the filing cabinet in my head. It's like I've lost all the back burners on my brain. And for someone who needs deadlines and structure and timelines to get anything done, this is a problem. Hello friends, welcome to Mr. Snayl's Wild Ride. I am Mr. Snayl, and the wild ride is my life so far. Just the other night, my wife told me she needed some moving blankets unearthed from wherever I'd buried them in the garage and put in the back of her car. Keep in mind, you need to be available between X and Y to do that tomorrow. And I said what I always say, which is, well, if I don't do that right now, it's not going to happen. Apparently, I say that a lot. Another thing I say a lot is, I just can't deal with that right now. This is the kind of thing I say in response to examples like the one I just gave you. I mean, I knew I said it sometimes, but apparently I say it a lot. A lot. That kind of attitude would make it pretty hard to plan for anything, wouldn't it? You know, when I considered it for a moment, I realized that I'm pretty unable to add even sort of medium-level priority things to my daily routine, which makes me pretty unable to plan for anything in the future at all. So instead, pressure builds and I start to freak out, and as the due date gets closer and closer and eventually arrives, everything collides at the end into a giant clusterfuck. This is the kind of thing I've always struggled with, sure, but it's much worse nowadays. Is it one of the aspects of autistic regression? Is it a side effect of one or more of the medications that I'm on? Is it something else? Is it none of these? Or what about when it's even more complicated, like when I'm trying to prepare a couple of additional episodes of The Wild Ride in advance of some time when I'm going to be out of town? That hasn't really worked out ever. In fact, it's even worse and more backward than the other examples I've given. Just this past weekend, I said to my wife I really had to buckle down because I only had a couple of weeks left to bank some extra episodes in advance of when we were going to be leaving town. And of course I said that from this lingering idea that it was the beginning of the month and that we were going to be leaving town at the end of the month. No, it's the middle of the month. And we're going to be leaving town in like 6 days. 6 days! When the reality of being that confused about something dawns on you and how close the actual date is, the feeling is indescribable. It's a combination of panic and shutdown and whiteout and paralysis and hopelessness and wanting to give up all at once. I was rendered speechless. It was kind of like I was a mouse at the very end of the maze and it was a dead end. And I didn't know what else to do. But at the same time, I was so incredulous, I could not believe that this was actually what was happening, and that I really didn't have time to do any of the stuff that needed to happen. Normally I produce an episode a week, but I confess that I don't do anything else. All of my real-world responsibilities generally slide, unless an emergency pops up, because it takes me the whole week to do one episode. That's why I'm so bad at responding to your comments. I see them, and believe me, they mean the world to me, and I want to respond to them as promptly as possible, but listen, I don't want to get carried away here. I spend my whole week working on each episode, whether it looks like it or not, and instead of dealing with other things in my life, I focus on that because this channel means everything to me. And since it takes me so long, I can't work very effectively on any sort of episode that might take a lot of research or be very involved or would require some sort of longitudinal focus. I'd like to do more of those things. I'd like to be able to bring more varied content or to do something more interesting than me just sitting here flapping my yapper in the same room all the time. So this is the situation. Right now, as of this episode airing here on YouTube, I'm in Anaheim at VidCon, trying to learn how to become a better YouTuber. And when I return, I'm going to be destroyed, of course, for all the usual reasons. I'll have been out of town, I'll have been out of my environment, I'll have been around way too many people for way too long, way too much stimulation, unusual food, unusual environment, not around my animals, not around my usual environment, and so on, ad infinitum. Since the 2 weeks that I thought were going to come from the astral plane or wherever it is that they store extra time that I was going to use to prepare these extra episodes that were going to air while I was recuperating, since that's not going to materialize, I'm obviously not going to be posting any new episodes until mid-July. I'm really sorry. I hate all this on again, off again, posting early, posting late crap. I'm going to try to get my act together. I'm not taking another trip for quite a while. I'm still trying to sort all my stuff out. I'm still a YouTube noob for all intents and purposes, and I got no collabs to learn from here in the woods. Maybe I should collaborate with a deer. Oh, one more thing. For those of you who might be interested in YouTube as an industry or any particular YouTubers as a fan and whatnot, I will be at VidCon for all 3 days, although I won't be at the Disneyland part, and I'll be tweeting from there the whole time. So I learned from Playlist Live that I won't be able to vlog once the whole convention gets underway. So, but keep your eyes on your Twitter feed. I'll definitely be tweeting from there. So my Twitter handle is right down there. right down there if you're interested. So other than that, I'll see you soon. Oh, and don't forget to like and to subscribe.